Greetings, travelers. Come on in and welcome to the Red Hair Inn. I'm your narrator, Utahime, here alongside these wonderful adventurers before you to spin you a yarn through the lands of Zadia. Now, before we begin, however, I would like to thank, first and foremost, our talented artists who did the amazing art that you see, these gorgeous, gorgeous character arts for our players. The Art Nerd, thank you so much for your hard work. This looks amazing. And we have to thank our amazing innkeeper, who is one of our lovely players, Logan Hanley. He did all of our graphics and our fabulous overlay that you see before you. And so you guys know we are playing Tales of Zadia, the official Dragon Prince tabletop role-playing game produced by Direwolf that uses the Cortex Prime system. And as narrator, I'll be using the amazing online Tales of Zadia portal that has lots of really cool features like the character builder, there's the character and narrator notes that are in there, and even a digital dice roller. Now, although you, the audience, won't see any of my rolls, they can be seen by my players to allow them to take advantage of all my bad rolls. And April knows better than anyone how much digital dice they love me. They just love me. No, that's pure sarcasm. They don't love me. So this is going to be a lot of fun. And my players will have the choice of rolling their fabulous, because I don't know if you guys knew this. Oh yeah, Direwolf brought out the Tales of Zadia dice that are available on their site. So they'll either be rolling their dice or some of their own dice from home, or they're going to be rolling digitally. So you guys won't see that action, but I'll fill you in on what's going on. No worries. Now, without further hesitation, the friends who make this fun adventure into Zadia possible, my players, if I could have each of you briefly introduce yourselves and tell the viewers who you will be playing, along with your pronouns and your character's pronouns. But remember, descriptions and all those juicy deets will come later. So let's start with Logan.
You're starting with me? Jeez, that's okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Logan, innkeeper here at the Red Hair Inn. I will be playing Tal Thal, who is an Earth Blood elf. And yeah, he's a fun little guy that I'm really excited to get to play. He's a little chaos raccoon gremlin well, not a human, an elf. Uh, and yeah, you'll get to see him in action shortly.
I just realized I went out of order from the overlay. But so we're going to try to fix that a little bit. We're going
You're
to
good.
head over to April.
Hi, everybody. I am April Hill. I am playing Kinda. We changed it. Kinda. She is a Delbarian hunter, and she uses she/her pronouns.
Fantastic. Now let's go over to Shiara, played by our Sparrow.
Hi, hello. I am your favorite burb on the interweb, Black Sparrow. My pronouns are he, him. I will be playing Shiara Yatve. Their pronouns are they, them. They are an Evernarian human, and I'm real excited to be here.
Very excited for you to be here at this table. Thank you so much. Now over to Daniel.
My name is Daniel Lieberman. Many people just know me as Dragon. My pronouns are he, him. And on our adventures to the lands of Zadia, I will be playing Dahi, the Skywing Elf.
Hey, I'm so excited for everybody to meet your characters. And last but certainly not least, Cher.
Hello, all. My name is Cher, pronoun she, her. And tonight I'm playing Mahandi, pronouns also she, her. And she is your Sunfire elf warrior. She has a bit of a temper, but we'll see if that is to her advantage or no.
Ooh, I can already tell there's going to be some very interesting interactions, and I'm so excited for it. Yes, indeed. Well, now that we have our introductions out of the way, my friends, the time has come. Let's adventure together through tonight's chapter of this particular tale, The Lost Isle. the adventure begins. The warm sun begins to illuminate inside the tent, stirring them awake. They begin to stretch their long, lanky limbs to shake off the tiredness from the long night before, spent reading, researching. Getting up from their bedroll, they head over to the old wooden chair near the entrance of the tent, where a beautifully made green cloak with magnificent white and green colored owl feathers adorn the collar and down the middle of the fabric. Darker green embroidered runes can be seen running along the thick trim of the garment. Their clothing, in similar shades of green and white, are pieces from their former days as a Moonshadow elder. With ease, they fasten the cloak around their neck as they exit the tent. Looking up to the sky, thick clouds begin to cover the sun for a brief moment before rolling past, revealing the clear Zadian sky. They close their eyes, taking a deep breath, as it seems the winds have picked up a bit, brushing their flowing white hair in braids back, and making the fabric of the owl feather cloak appear to dance along with the breeze. This simply has to work, they say, opening their bright blue eyes to look upon the sky once again with a newfound determination. It will. It has to. They take a small, worn leather notebook from one of the inside pockets of their cloak, rustling through the pages until it gets to their illustrations of the constellations and phases of the moon. Their finger traces over the image of the moon briefly, before quickly shutting the notebook, turning on their heel, and they begin to swiftly head in the direction of the marketplace, just outside the Hollowwood. The Hollowwood, known for being a bustling trade city, founded and occupied by a large community of Moonshadow elves. Their outdoor markets welcome any traveling elf, even those of other cultures, including the occasional human visitors. At the moment, the marketplace for any who have visited before seems drastically quieter than the usual hustle and bustle of this particular market. There are many shops that appear to be closed down. The ones that are open seem to have very limited goods and supplies even available, and there appears to be little to no foot traffic throughout the market. However, this place just got a bit more lively due to a very interesting Sunfire and Earthblood elf duo entering the scene. Let's begin, Mahande. What do we see as you begin to enter the market alongside your Earthblood elf friend?
You see a true elven warrior before you, very tall compared to other Sunfire elves. She clocks in at around 7 foot tall, and she has red and golden armor, and it models the grandeur of the dragons. Her people, the Sunfire elves, definitely revere the dragons and their might and their power. So her entire outfit is red and gold throughout. She has long dreads, red dreads that are adorned with gold accessories as well. And she has a helm that protects her 2 horns, which is also wreathed in gold. She carries a spear with her. Right now, it is slung over her back. She has it fastened to her. She does not go anywhere without her spear, and you can see almost a fiery sheen to the metal of this spear. So she calls to her companion, Tal, come on, keep up. We have plenty more of the market to see.
Now, what does Tal look like to those around? What is he up to at the moment as she's calling you?
As Mahandi turns, she sees Tal, who is significantly shorter than she is, to the point where maybe goes up to like mid-waist. he is very, very short. He is an older Earth blood elf. The thing that stands out about him is his hair. It's multicolored and layered in the various colors of the leaves that would fall from trees or grow and fall from trees. His beard coming in as this like mossy patch that extends down from where the leaves fall around his cheeks, his chin, and over his mouth. That's the most kept together thing about Tal, as everything else is a smattering of ropes and clasps and buttons and zippers and belts, as he's found things from his time in the wilds of Zadia, just collecting and putting together. His clothes are tattered and worn and patched together in most places. He wears armor, but it's not really armor. It's just like pieces of bark and trees that he's found that seem like they would provide some sort of protection for him. And he carries all matters of little like knickknacks and doodads, a fanny pack where he keeps many secret things. And he's usually not far without some sort of small critter or animal companion, whether it's some sort of tree animal while out in the wilds, or here searching for, your lowly, rats and mice and things of that nature. But as Mahandi turns around, the thing that probably would have struck her is that he's standing maybe about 10 or 15 feet away from a stall, just staring at this metallic gear that's at one of the tables, just eyeing it and like doing this little bob back and forth. He's got a little bit like the slight like old man hunch going, as he's like eyeing the gear and trying to figure out how best to obtain it.
Oh goodness. Well, it would seem that you have your eye set on something again, and Mahandi will make her way, kind of stomp over to him, because this has happened more than enough times before. As Shiny catches the glimmer of his eye, and suddenly we are stopped to a halt and we don't go anywhere. So,
And this place is called the Floating Kettle. So it has lots of knickknacks and things like that, but it's looking a little scarce compared to what you've been used to seeing before, because Tal has been to the Hollywood before, correct?
I've come a few times when I've needed to either restock or see what I can get a hold of, to put it nicely. Yeah, Humblewood isn't home, but it's a place on the road that I stop from time to time.
Is there anything I can help you with? I got some things for you that compared to last time.
Do you happen to have any teapots or actually not pots, kettle? My friend here.
Of course. We're called the Floating Kettle after all. If we don't make kettles, then what the heck are we doing, right?
I'm looking for one that wouldn't particularly melt in the hands of and he'll like just kind of like glance up at Mahandi.
She will cross her arms and say, "It is not my fault if a product is made of inferior quality, How do you suppose to put a kettle on the fire if it can't even resist a fiery touch?"
I think I have something for you, actually. It's not too often we get lovely Sunfire folk in this part, but I've seen you recently too with this one here. But here's something that it has special rooms on it on the side here. It should help with not overheating.
Mm.
And it's basically this really beautiful. It looks like a normal kind of steel kettle, but it's the way that it's carved that almost like the end of the kettle, the spout, it twists in such a way where it almost looks like a tree branch. It's really pretty, and it has the runes on the side of the handle, and also too around the bottom as well.
Mm.
That's
I think
carved in.
It's
I
very
think
beautiful.
Mahandi probably like strong arms and just like palms this kettle in one hand and kind of looks at it and checks it and then sees, oh,
I promise
well,
it's up to snuff. I promise.
well, I don't know what the runes mean. It still looks pretty though.
I
Here,
would have
Tal,
to study it
kind of-
like, to figure it out properly, but
And she puts it, if Tal is holding out his hands, she will put it right in his hands and say, well, go ahead then, buy your new trinket, but don't expect me to carry it around for you.
can we afford it? I don't. You usually carry all our money. Also, can I get a warranty for this thing? Just in case.
Well, we don't have any type of warranty or anything like that here at the Hollywood. It's just, it's our word, as far as being, sellers in this part. So, just know that I wouldn't sell you anything that's not on, not legit.
Well, do you have the occasion to trade in point of fact, or are you
to
only
be
looking
honest
for
with you,
money?
if you have, I'm willing to trade for, even if it's just a little. We're kind of in some dire straits at the moment,
I
unfortunately.
have just what you need. And he'll
Mm.
reach into his pocket and he'll pull out a small little bag that almost looks like a coin purse but isn't, and he'll set it into the shopkeep's hand. These are seeds to a particular tree that grows a menagerie of fruits. I don't know how many seeds are in there or what they do, actually. I just kind of picked them from the ground. But I'm pretty sure they're plants and you could use them.
Well, actually, I'll give this back to you. That's kind of the problem, is that I shouldn't be saying this. There's a plague going on, and it's affecting all of our crops. Hence why you see there's not as many people around. So this wouldn't really do any good. If anything, it would just get eaten up along with everything else. But do you have anything?
Kind narrator, question.
Yes.
When we look around at some of the others, I think at those words, I think Mahandi immediately would take a real look at all of the stubbles around us. And is what this person is saying pan out? Is it like that's sparse right now at an odd time of day that it should be busy? I think
it definitely is. You notice that even some of the shops that were usually well maintained, they're looking worse for wear. A lot of the different stalls that do have any type of like fruits or vegetables, they look like they're almost spoiled, and they're not looking fresh. You see people kind of, like desperately looking for customers. The one stalls that you see that are doing a little bit better are the ones that obviously have more wares than anything concerning fruits or vegetables or food of that sort. There's one little shop that is like a little bakery, patisserie, and there's a little bit of action over there, but as far as just the normal traffic that you guys probably are used to, it's definitely looking a little bad for these people currently.
Sure. I think Mahandi will turn to Tal and say a little less sharply, Tal, turn out your pockets. The seeds that you have offered here are no good if the ground is not good in order to grow things right now. So what I think would benefit our kind merchant here would be if we have any food between us. And she will begin
please, anything.
any rations that she has, let's say she tries to keep at least 3 days rations on her, just as a matter of course. She will give at least 2.5, like the vast majority of rations to the merchant. We're talking things that are shelf safe, a bit of a biscuit, definitely some cured meat. Some will call it pocket bacon, for example. Those
Yes.
types of things.
Oh, thank you so much. This is almost too much. Are you sure you can part with this?
Please, by all means, take it. And she kind of leans down to do like the side whisper, but she's so tall that it's not even possible. She says, I need him to empty out his pockets as much as possible anyway. Tal, come on.
Unders-
I know you have some
I
food
can
there.
hear you. You know that. And he's like already like he opens up his fanny pack and it just like bursts a little and you can see like a handful of acorns and there's like a couple of leaves and some pine needles. He's all right, nothing in there, zips it back up. And he carries a small like pack on his back and he flips that around. He starts going through it. I need that. You could have that. And he pulls out a what looks like almost to be like a straw hat, but it's covered with this like it looks almost rubbery to like the look and touch, but it's actually just like dried fruits that he's let sit out in the sun. You can have that. I need the hat back though. And
while you're doing that,
he just starts going through.
while you're still going through your pack, the scene suddenly shifts to a graceful figure that enters the scene, belonging to a certain Skywing elf, coming into view with an exceptional set of wings. Dahi, could you tell everyone where we would find you here in this market, especially with now this interaction that's taken place, and describe what they would see when you arrive?
Well, I would imagine that a 7-foot tall, majestic Sunfire warrior is pulling more than enough attention that there'd be very little that would shock or pull any attention, except maybe gracefully gliding down from the sky, the rarest of elves, at least of the major groups, a Skywing elf that has wings. Pale lavender skin, some leathers tying things together, but mostly well-fitted silks and linens, all allowing for free movement. The upper body, the arms peeking out from the cropped top, purple tattoos that also have wingtips around their eyes. The purple mirrors that of their fantastic wings. But the tattoos have an almost luminescent quality. Tousled hair that is that perfect bedhead that anyone would have to work for. But you just know with this individual, they do in fact wake up like that. Ridged horns elegantly sweeping back in line with their head. And as they come down and land in the square, the grace they have on the ground is no less than that as they coast through the air. There's this unnatural precision, but it's not precious. It's not intentional. It's natural. It just happens as they move. This figure may be well known to some people. They've been in Hollowwood before, but many years ago, they had some level of renown as a somewhat famous performer, a sky dancer. But that was another life. Here, as they land, they look around, taking in their setting, and looking for someone. They can't help but notice these two figures who stand out in this group. and seeing the tall Sunfire warrior, their posture shifts suddenly, and they give a Sunfire warrior salute that looks as if they've been practicing it for years in a way that the soldiers of the Sunfire elves would find enviable, and then relaxes back into their other posture. Logan, what kind of tradition and greeting would be common to the Earthblood elves that you come from?
That's a really good question.
Yeah, it is.
Oh,
Man.
we all
And
want to hear this
we're
one.
making this
Okay.
canon.
I
We're
think-
making this
I
canon
think-
because there's
Yes.
not that much information about our Earthblood friends. So just so the viewers
Yeah,
know,
I
it's
think
canon.
I think between where he grew up, there were a couple, but he kind of developed one on his own. But you would know that
What would be the most common cultural greeting for your heritage and your particular group? I know you spent time on your own and developed
we
your own.
would. I think it would be based on the forest, on the trees, on the connection to wildlife and plants. And so for that, it would be acknowledging that they are, whoever you're talking to is well rooted, but also growing tall and strong.
So, this figure who you've never seen before looks at you, kneels, places both hands on the ground. One scoops up a little bit of dirt and a rock, the other a wayward leaf, moves them over in a traditional manner that would be ceremonial upon greeting any member of your culture when you were young, pulls them to the side and lets them fall. And then again, returns to their own posture and looks at some of the Moonshadow elves and does a traditional palm forward greeting that they do in some of their greeting dances. And again, relaxes into their own posture. And the transition is seamless and instant.
And you notice that some of the merchants or the residents seem impressed and also return the similar gesture.
Half of the stuff in Tal's bag just falls out. He's just shocked. And it's just stare, like his mouth drops. And he's just, and goes to start gathering things back up.
And I should say, aside from the fabulous wings and that sort of entrance, Dahi is obnoxiously attractive. Like, he's that kind, it doesn't matter what your orientation is, whether it's be something you'd want, you can't help but acknowledge it. Nobody should look that pretty. It's just not right.
The merchant at the floating kettle also drops, like, there's like a ladle that, like, all of a sudden that they were in their hand and now it's on the ground. I'm sorry that whoa.
Oh, and then they just sort of move. Apologies, Marian. My apologies. I didn't mean to interrupt. Pleasure to make your acquaintance. My name is Dahi.
The pleasure's all mine. Welcome to the floating kettle. I'm Jordan. But you can call me Jory. Hi. Hi. Oh, hi. Hi.
The market.
Can I help you?
Oh, I'm looking for somebody, but the market seems a little bit more bare than the last time I was here.
Oh, yes. It's been unfortunate. As I was telling the folks over there, we've experienced a plague of sorts, and it's been going through all our crops and the like, and it's making it very difficult for us.
When I was on my way here, I saw what looked like a blight spreading through the fields. I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yeah, we're trying to figure out what to do, but nothing that we do has been really fixing the problem. Seems to be getting worse day by day.
I hear stories that there's moonshadow elf that sometimes makes their way here. Goes by the name of Feathershaw.
Sorry, I don't know anyone by that name around here, and I know plenty of faces, so sorry, can't help you.
No, I thought they might have knowledge that would be able to help you. If I find them, perhaps I can send them your way.
Sure, sure. I mean, we'll take anything, and also trade. We're willing to trade with you. I mean, I'm sure you've been with those wings and all. You've probably traveled lots of places.
I have. That said, flight tends to mean I travel light, but I could see if I might have something that would help. Give me a moment to at least greet a few others around here.
Certainly.
You, as he turns to Mahandi, I don't think we've met. Well, I'm pretty sure I've seen you before, even amongst the ranks of Sunfire Elves in Luxaria. You do tend to stand out.
Yes, well, I do get that a lot.
So do I. And the wings flutter.
Apparently. And I think when deity makes this salute, which for the viewers at home, since it wasn't demonstrated, it's you bring your hands together first, and then you bow with your hands crossed. I think that once she sees this from deity, being a Skywing elf, somehow being perfect at this salute for Sunfire elves, she reluctantly, like, she stares at you probably like for a full 30 seconds first, and then she goes ahead and returns it just to be respectful enough. Just enough. It's almost like when someone bows fully and the other person just gives the respectful nod, and that's it, you know? Barely polite, barely polite. And she says, well, certainly whomever you are looking for, if they are half as flashy and prominent as yourself, I'm sure that the merchant here or others should have found them. Were you supposed to be meeting someone here? By the way, my name is Mahandi.
Mahandi, pleasure to make your acquaintance. Dahi.
Dottie, that one is Tal. She points to Tal. It's like
Tal is
3 feet below her.
is 100% in Mahandi's shadow, just like kind of peeking around the side of her. He's really pretty. I mean, hi, Tal.
Hell, pleasure to make your acquaintance. Dahi.
You as well, sir.
I think I should be the one calling you, sir.
Oh no, it's been a long time since anybody called me sir. That was my father, I think. Well, I called my
Mahandi's
father,
shoulders
sir.
at that comment. Mahandi's shoulders will kind of start to shrug a little bit, and then you hear this low giggle, like, I think he just called you old, my friend.
Oh, I am young in the way in terms of trees, and plants.
A simple deference to somebody who clearly has the wisdom of the woods.
I try my best. I pick up bits in here and there when I can. It's there's always
He
something new
picks
to
up
find.
bits of everything everywhere. He's being a bit modest.
Listen, everything has a purpose and has a use, and I will find a use and a purpose for everything that I pick up. And he's like, he doesn't glare at Mahandi because he knows better. But like, there's like a hint of like glare in the way that he says it and like his expression up toward her.
Yes. Well, and she turns back to Jordan and says, please, my friend is rather excited about this kettle, and if any and all of this food, and by now I'm sure there's probably like a pile on the counter of the dried fruits and
Yeah.
dried meats and
There's the hat, and it's like, oh, here you go, friend.
right.
It's like, and like going through it, and Jory kind of also too gives another kettle and like the ladle, and like here you can take all, and then kind of mid sentence, all of a sudden Jory's attention kind of is in the opposite direction, kind of snaps, because it was kind of like out of the corner of their eye. And you notice that attention in general in the marketplace is quickly drawn to another interesting sight. It's rare to see one human, let alone two, enter the market on the same day, no less. Everyone would look in the direction where Jory is now facing, and you would see one of our human visitors, one who happens to have shining eyes and a rather large bow. Shiara, can you describe yourself and what brings you to this part of Zadia on this particular day?
Yeah. Shiara stands about 5'7", very thin upper frame, a lot of like intentional like greens and like leafy textures to their outfit, a bow that kind of just like sticks up behind them a bit like an antenna, like over their head, and they are doing their best. They're kind of keeping their eyes low to the ground. They're not looking at anybody in the eye. They feel very out of place, and they kind of maneuver like towards Jory's shop, but again, they're not really looking at anybody, but they're keeping their eyes on the ground to the point where like they don't run into somebody, or if there's like something hanging overhead, they kind of deftly like move their head out of the way so it's not like they don't embarrass themselves. And they just kind of stop, and then like a quick flash look, and then their eyes divert again just to kind of see like what's going on in front of them. And they seem to be looking for something or someone, but really not saying much to people.
And kind of as you are motioning over to that particular, it seems to be everyone's favorite shop now, the Floating Kettle, glances again shift. Jory, all of us, oh, another one. There's a certain human, another human with striking red hair, walking with a certain air about her that gives off the vibe that maybe she's not a stranger to Zadia, or those curious glances that people are giving her currently. Kinda. Could you tell everyone what they see when looking at you, and what brought you to the Hollywood marketplace?
Yeah, so Kinda is walking through almost with that that like anime style like confidence, like happy-go-lucky walk, like taking in all the sights, like I belong here, and I am not out of place at all. And but yeah, she's got her hair braided in a faux braid, and she's covered in leathers and furs, and she has her hand crossbow, and she walks with this kind of like just this like I said, this hunter's confidence. Like normally humans might be kind of like timid to be here. Just kind of walking around just like meh.
Like our other human who was looking a little bit more to the ground, you're just direct eye contact.
Yeah, I'm like waving at people as I pass by that are staring at me, obviously staring at me, and I'm just like just not even caring at all. And when I see the occasional fur or animal meats and stuff for sale, like I dart over if you can visualize that, like in the Dragon Prince, like I dart over immediately and I have like heart eyes around it and like looking at all the furs, and any meats and stuff like that that look delicious and or beautiful and stuff like that. So, yeah, I'm just looking around, finding all of these cool things, just scoping out the market and seeing what's here and what's happening.
Well, welcome to the Ugly Moon. How can I help you? We got some furs here that are rather nice. I think they'll look good on you. You could put it around like in a cape or something.
Yeah, I'm not usually one that will purchase said beautiful furs like this, but I am curious, how did you come across such beautiful, rare items such as this? Did you hunt them yourself, or did you buy them from somebody locally? Where did these come from?
Of course, I pride myself in my hunting skills. I mean, I'm sure, well, actually, have you heard about what Moon Shadow Elves are capable of, little Missy?
I do, and she pulls out her leather book and she's like, I have a few notes, but I'm always willing to learn a little bit more. I am very curious, especially if you are able to do bring down creatures such as this. You must have amazing stories.
Oh, yeah, tracking. It's all about the tracking. All about the tracking. And also, too, knowing where their movement is, like where they're going. You gotta try to be in the forest, become one with the forest. You see what I'm saying? You feel me?
Yes, I definitely, I sometimes will rub different secretions from some animals on my body just so that they can't smell me, and then I smell like them. And so, yes, I become one with the forest. One time I tried to put some branches in my hair to try to look more like one of the elves so I could maybe be more of the forest, but they just kept falling out. So I never magically turned
Well, I
into
think
one.
that's kind of hard because you got the 5 digits. You know, we kind of don't have that.
Yeah, one of sometimes my pinky gets in the way, especially when I'm using my if I'm using a longer bow, but it's fine, I guess.
I'm sure you seem like you could take care of yourself. I see that crossbow there. That's impressive.
Yeah. I'm actually out, like, if you know of any really cool hunting spots, definitely interested in learning more about that. And she like pulls out her book and stuff. Yeah, so if you know of anywhere really fun that I could maybe, find some rare animals that that nobody is like really wanting to go hunt because they're afraid, I would like to know more about that.
Can Chiara hear this?
I feel like you're not that far. Like it's the stalls are pretty much like only like a few like kind of feet from one another. So I don't think that kind of is Kai is keeping it quiet. It seems that this whole
Chiara
interaction and
has-
the person is very boastful as well and excited that someone asked them about their hunting skills.
Chiara has the coldest eyebrow raised from like across the way, like hearing this, just very displeased look on their face. Not saying anything, not approaching, but like just
Are you
like
you
over the
somewhere where I
shoulder
can't see
shot.
you?
Yeah, over the shoulder shot, just zoom in on Chiara's face. It's just like,
Yeah, it would just be that like zoom, that pan where it's like
Yeah.
dun, dun, dun.
And then it can open up and you just see Dahi look up at Mahandi and go, I feel like you can relate to this experience. Isn't it a pleasure for there to be something else that's more interesting for people to look at for once?
Agreed. Interesting. And I think, how far away is this conversation happening from where Tal and Mahandi and Daiti are standing?
I feel like it's like probably no more than like 6 feet. Like it's not that far.
Got it.
So we're like in the same shop.
Well,
We're
it's a marketplace.
beside
So
each
it's,
other.
it's like the
Yeah,
outside
so-
stalls. So they're
Next-
they're all set
next
up kind of
stall
next to each
over.
other. Yeah,
Right.
next stall. Yeah.
Mhm, correct.
'Cause they were
Um,
coming from the other side. Like basically, you guys were on one end, and they were coming from the other side.
Mhm. Well, certainly I can recognize another warrior when I see one. Well met there. Are you a warrior as well?
You are really tall. Yes, and really, wow. Yes.
Anime sweat drop. Like,
Hi. Howdy. Yeah. Wow. And you've got wings. Wow. Hi. Yes. I am. I am a very mighty, not necessarily a warrior, but I am a hunter and I'm very good at it. And I'm actually probably one of the best hunters around, or I will be.
Mahandi is always a strategist in most any encounter she is in. Considering that they just gave away the vast majority of their rations, and upon hearing that they have now stumbled upon an expert hunter, she says to Kinda, my name is Mahandi. This is my friend, pal. And yes, she does pause. And then she points to, and this one, the graceful one, Tahiti. I think I got the name.
Dahi.
Dahi. Yes.
And I'm unfamiliar with most human greeting customs, but I believe a handshake is
Over
what you
there.
call it.
Nice to
Oh,
meet you.
Reaches out, takes your hand, and
Shaking
the
vigorously.
vigorous handshake. As soon as your hand touches, other than the fact that there's one finger less, the hand subtly shifts and matches your speed and strength exactly, and then releases.
That was cool. That was really and you have, are those real? Are those twigs or are those real like horns? And I'm looking at Tal.
Oh, you'd be looking down. He is shorter than you.
Yeah.
And as you look down, he's glaring at you. Like, he is angry. You killed things?
What?
You said you were a hunter.
Yeah, like
dear.
saving people, hunting things, you know, the family business.
No,
Hey,
I
Kiara's
don't.
face
it's a
because
normal
I
part of
don't-
life. It's hunting is fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
Kiara's-
He glares at the Moon Shadow Elf. Stay out of this.
No.
Hey, all right.
Now, Tal.
Shiara's face is a smirk now.
Right.
Those
This became a
creatures.
mess. This became a mess without you even doing anything. How about that? I think Mahandi kind of puts a hand on Tal's shoulder and says, Now, Tal. You know that I have been carrying dried meats with me during this whole time. So I've heard your pitch before in the past to try switching over to yes, eating all veggie. That does not have enough protein for the amount of energy that I need. So I'm sorry, you're
Not
not
all-
going to
we could
convince anyone here.
We could still eat eggs. Like, those are
Ooh.
protein.
Sure,
You can hunt for
yes, of
eggs
course.
too.
Yeah, see,
Of
that's
course.
ethical. As long as they're not
Right.
baby chicks.
Eh,
Where's Shiara in this situation currently?
I think
Did you
as
move
this
closer?
interaction is looking, Dahi is looking at Shiara, just kind of glancing over.
Still not making any eye contact. Chiara's more interested in finding their contact than this conversation that's going on, because as far as they know, this is just like a gathering of people.
A question
I-
for Ciara then. Is there anything on Ciara's person that, although they are doing their best to minimize themselves, do they have something on their person or a part of their clothes that might catch someone's eye in even in light of that?
They both.
I mean, yeah, other than the bow, you would see they have something of, I'm going to describe it as a tiara, something of a tiara that kind of like, it looks like very weathered like foliage that is weaved through, but there's a big jewel like right in the center of it it's like an incredibly clear jewel, but it's just like it sits like right in the center of their forehead, right underneath like a little loop that is chilling right there. So that could be a thing maybe you could notice.
All right, fair enough. The bow actually is quite enough and relevant to this conversation. So, Shiara is about to get called out, just fair warning. So, Mahandi looks over and says, "Oh, see, look, there's yet another hunter. Hello, you there? You eat meat, right? I'm sure you're at least somewhat of a marksman, are you not?"
I don't think
There's
that's
a-
how you start a conversation, but
Well,
It
says
appears to
you.
be how your friend starts a conversation.
There's a pause only because Shiara is not looking in that direction. And then they kind of just like tilt their head over and then like for a split second there's eye contact like as they look up between Mahandi and Shiara. And they just nod. And then they're back to like looking around.
I feel like it's that moment when you have your headphones on and someone is saying something casual to you in the street and you're like, did they just talk to me? Okay. Do they not see I have my headphone? Hi, okay, and back to my headphones. So
You got
you
it.
see,
You got it in one.
so you see, Tal, it's not a factor that is so out of place. People need to be able to hunt, to eat. Now, I will say, hunting just for sport.
Yes.
Can't say that I agree with that one.
Oh, no.
Oh,
Sometimes.
no times, like 0.
Well, what if it's like because it's part of your like a festival? That's fine then, right? Because it's part of a festival. Because then that's totally ethical.
well, they eat meat at festivals.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, eating meat at festivals, cool. Killing animals for sport at
Because
festivals.
you're going to eat their meat at a festival.
Okay.
I like
Given the
look at the
diversity-
shopkeeper and I'm like, right? Yeah.
Okay. There's a
It's
couple.
all you,
You
little
could
lady.
see
It's
like
all
the
you.
steam coming out of Tal's ears as he's trying to contemplate this.
Yeah, the shopkeeper is just like kind of like leaving that to you because didn't want any part of that conversation.
I look
Given
over
that there's
to-
so much diversity in the traditions of the different peoples of Zadia, we're clearly not all agree on your feelings on this, dear Tal. Is it any surprise that human cultures have a divergent view and perhaps are not a monolith themselves either?
I don't know. I haven't studied humans long enough yet.
Well, not many elves have had much opportunity. I've only ever coasted along the border. But I don't think you're from any of those nations now, are you? Looking at kinda.
Oh, I thought you were talking to Tal. I was
No.
like, oh, who, me? Where I'm from? I'm not from here. I mean, yeah, you were right. You guessed right. Not from here.
Well, I meant you're not from either of the border nations either.
What would make you say that? And I like cross my arms and I like give a little sass, kind of like sticking my hip out, like,
Well, I can't say I'm overly familiar with human cultures, but as I said, I've coasted along the border more than once, and you don't look like you're from Catalis.
correct. Ooh, are we gonna play a guessing game? Yes, not from Catalis.
I can't say that, as I
Again?
said, that I know that much. I haven't dared venture further. As you said, the wings kind of make me stand out, and
Yeah, by the way, where are you? Like not what are you, because that's not very nice to ask, but where are you from? That's nicer to ask, yeah? I like look at Mahandi because I'm like, you seem like you're the person that like has been really like knowing ethically what to say. And I'm like, right? That's a good thing. That's a good way to
That's a
ask.
complicated question for
She
most
has this
Skywing
like
elves.
her eye is twitching at the moment, like. So when it stops twitching, that's when you know that you have said the correct thing.
Okay, okay, good. So
That's
where
complicated. Where we're from is kind of a complicated question for most Skywing elves. Not all of us have wings. In fact, very few of us did. None of my family did.
did you hunt them off of a creature and
Oh
have
no,
them
I was born
magically
with them.
attached?
I
Okay,
was born with them.
good. I'm like whispering to where Tal can't, but can totally hear when I was asking that.
Is that what you're trying to do?
No. Wait, what?
I don't know. We were whispering, so I figured I'd say something.
So you were born with those.
The last member of my family to have them was my great grandmother, I believe. But it's very rare, even amongst Skywing elves, to have them.
But
I don't mean to interrupt, but I can confirm as you know, I'm a little bit up there in age for his moon shadow elf, and I haven't seen someone like not also as pretty as this one here, but also with the wings.
Same, but you hopefully never have to prove exactly how much from where you are. So, as wonderful as this conversation has been, Tal, if you have those acorns, I would love to snack on some nuts for now, because now my tummy is getting a little rumbly, and right as if on cue.
I have walnuts, acorns. Well, we don't really eat acorns. He puts those away. Walnuts, cashews, pistachios. You know what? That'll give you a little bit of exercise while you eat. So here, he hands up a
Walnuts
bag.
and cashews. And she says to the others, whoever may be listening, yes, you would not like to see me when I'm hungry. And just starts to nosh
I
by
do
the
not doubt
handful.
that.
By
And
the
as-
handful.
And as Mahandi says this, I believe it would be probably Tal, Shiara, and Kinda who would notice just a little bit earlier than Dahi and Mahandi, especially since you're enjoying the snackage that is the acorns at the moment. You all would notice a conspicuous but very attractive moon shadow elf wearing a unique cloak made of lovely white and green colored owl feathers, who appears to be searching for something or someone with urgency. All of you would notice that none of the other moon shadow residents or merchants here even seem to notice them or pay them any mind as they're passing by. It almost seems like you all are the only ones who see them at all.
Shiara smiles and then like moves around the group towards this frantically searching moon shadow elf.
And they're definitely further down the marketplace. So it would just take you a little bit longer to try to reach them.
Yep.
Does anyone else follow, or do you?
As soon as I notice them, I will turn to them and say, "Excuse me for a moment," and I'll actually take off
Oh,
and flutter over.
What is
And
with
the
all these
sheep-
attractive people here?
well, I
you.
don't know.
Oh
But
no, not you. You kill animals.
now
And I
Paul,
point to, okay, I'm sorry, that was rude. You're pretty, but you're not pretty to me because you kill animals. And then I look over at Feathershaw, or well, this moon shadow elf, and point for Mahandi and kinda to see.
Mahandi says before she moves off after Tal, she turns to Kinda and says, apologies for my friend. He is quite opinionated. And then he calls me out for being such. What can you do? But she goes and follows Tal to make sure that he keeps himself out of trouble.
I'm gonna like turn to see where they were walking, and I noticed that they're heading towards that elf, and then I see another human walking through the crowd toward that same Moonshadow elf, and I'm like, hey, another human, and then I'm like, I take off towards them too to go introduce myself and say hi. Oh, thanks for the information about the first. Bye. And
See you later, little one. And then would we say that Dahi, because of the I'm pretty sure because of the flying
If we
speed,
weren't flying, I still might be the quickest. If I'm
pretty
flying, I'm
sure.
definitely.
Yes, I'm pretty sure. Definitely.
Yeah. So I will actually fly and then sort of just drop down on the other side of this figure in the feathered cloak.
Oh, hello. I feel like we've met before. Or have I just...
I don't think I've met you. But if I'm not mistaken, we at least have a mutual friend.
Oh, Ibis! Yes! Yes! You were like a protege or one of his...
Ibis and I were involved for a time.
Oh, more than... Well, that's none of my business. But I'm glad that you're here. I have... If you don't mind, I'm looking for some others, but I also need you to come with me to my camp so I can explain a matter of great urgency.
Might
Do
it
you
have something
mind?
to do with something floating in the sky that no one's seen in a very long time?
Now, how did you know anything about that? Ibis?
That's why
I'm
Ibis
assuming?
sent me to you.
Oh,
I've
yes,
seen
of
it.
course. Well, Ibis was always very well read and respected. Definitely, I respected his skills. It's been a while since I've seen him, actually.
New pretty friend. Is
I think-
there trouble here? And Mahandi kind of saunters over, right behind Tal.
Well, interestingly enough, I need as much help as possible to handle a situation of great urgency, and someone as capable and of your stature would prove quite useful in this mission.
This is the mage I was looking for.
Oh, interesting. And what be your
It's
name?
quite rude. I'm so sorry for not properly introducing myself. I am, well, as this one here could probably tell you, I am Feathershaw. Pleasure to meet you. Now, this matter needs to be handled as soon as possible. So, if you don't mind, we need to head to my camp immediately, as quickly as
Alright.
possible.
Well, what kind of people are you looking for?
Those who are capable, those who have very unique skills for, as you mentioned before, a certain floating island in the sky, sitting in the sky. There's something
Well-
there. I'll tell you the details later. We have to go back to my camp. I
Might be
I
interesting
cannot
to
share this information here.
Of course not, but you might be interested to know that there are two humans here who seem to have had the skills to survive in Zadia alone, in a time when humans seem to be even less welcome than usual. They might be the kind of people you need.
He says that Shiara is just like next to just there, just like the creepy young girl that like you turn, you're like, they're just there.
And for
hello.
the record, Dahi doesn't even flinch, just like waits for you to coast.
I'm right behind Shiara, like, because I was making a beeline for you and then to see where you were going and you happen to be there. So I'm like right behind you and I'm about to like tap you on the shoulder. Like
Grab the
so-
finger.
Ibis had all of you come together and
Oh
find
no,
me.
we've just met.
Oh,
Ibis
correct.
told me to find you to find out more information. I know about
Right.
as much about them as you do.
Oh, you are here too. All right. Did not see you there. Sorry. And she's talking to Shiara and says, sorry, don't mean to be rude. What is your name?
You can call me Shiara.
Oh, all right,
Pleasure.
Shiara. Same. Mahandi, Tal the Wise, apparently.
Hello.
And
I heard.
Dahi,
Daihi.
and offers their hand. Is this the custom for your people?
No.
Very gentle hands. You should shake it. I like whisper in your ear.
They're quite so.
I meant no offense. I'm just
None
curious
taken.
as to meeting others.
None taken.
Well,
And kinda. Yes.
Oh, I like step around. Shiara. Shiara? Saying it right? Okay. I step around Shiara. I'm like, hi, fellow human. I'm like sticking my hand out, like waiting. I'm sure Dahi, you were also. Like,
Well, I retracted my hand, and I think I just looked at Tal and said, as I said, the humans are no more a monolith than we are.
I close my fist and like just give you a hey.
and you'll notice that
fellow
Feathershaw
human.
seems to be a little bit uncomfortable looking around. And again, no one seems to notice them. They seem to be focused on you guys, but it seems like Feathershaw is not present, but you see them right in front of you. So I feel like that's still kind of happening at
Yeah.
the moment. And you notice that there's times where Feathershaw will turn their attention and seem
Might
to
we
be
go
bothered.
somewhere that you feel more comfortable?
Right.
Yes, that is exactly
Hmm.
exactly it. New friends, if you don't mind, I have a camp that's just outside of the Hollows Wood. If you follow me through the forest, we can get there quickly, and the quicker the better, actually. But I believe I can make it worth your while. At least I hope for many of you. But please, we must leave now.
I turn to the others and I say, I know you don't know me at all. But from somebody I trust, we are in no danger if we go with this person. At least to talk.
I promise I mean you no harms, including our human visitors to this part. I will not harm you. Just, if anything,
Well, in my
if I could
experience,
acquire your skills for a certain task.
well,
I'm
if it has
grateful.
anything to do, especially with this blight that seems to be
Oh, you've
a
heard.
cause for concern here.
Yes.
Hmm.
So if you don't mind, it's this way. And Feathershaw directs you all in a certain direction, kind of like pointing and then quickly turning on their heel and kind of swiftly walking, almost as if they have somehow, even in that brief moment, made it seem like it's a matter of importance for you to all to be concerned.
Hmm.
Do you follow, or are you just kind
No,
of
absolutely.
Okay.
Shiara is like right on them, schmoovin'.
As we move, I say, piece of advice, Moonshadow elves are fast, and take off.
Hmm.
I
Well,
was go-
Cal, looks like we've got a brand new adventure, eh?
Well, there's a floating city, so that'll be interesting. And he starts he quickly starts pulls his pack around, and as they're walking, starts rummaging through things, trying to find a couple, a pair of almost like binoculars, but not quite.
Did you say a floating city? How do we get on top of a floating city if we don't have wings like that guy?
Oh, he's gonna probably carry us all the way up there.
Oh, that's
That's
so
my
cool.
guess.
I'm in.
And Mahandi is just shaking her head.
You promise we talk to animals first, and then you could kill him?
Talk? You talk? Yeah, sure. If you can talk to the animal, then I'll let you talk to him first.
All right, deal. And he holds out his hand for a handshake, because apparently that's what you do.
I'm getting it.
And as you grab his hand, he's not ready for it, so it turns into a rag doll of Tal just being tossed around.
Gotta grip up the muscle a little bit. Okay.
That's
next time.
That's why I have her, and he just follows Chiara. Chiara.
I think you forget that it's the other way around, friend. I'm with you to make sure you don't fall into trouble. And you know not what you agree to, kinda. Have you not thought if he can speak to the animals before you decide to kill them, perhaps he might warn them first?
Speak with them, right? And I like
Mm.
hard wink at you, like, yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh, little humans. All right, this way. Come on, go. Shoo. And she just gonna shoo them in front of her.
And as
Oh,
you
no.
all walk now at a faster pace to catch up with maybe possibly new party members, you all walk for a bit, for a mile or so, until you reach the outside of the Hollowwood, where you see it a very humble. It's not fancy and by any means as far as the tent and kind of the accommodations. But Feathershaw is holding the tent opened for you all to enter. This way. Welcome. It's not much, but please come in.
Does a formal Rune Shadow elf greeting, thanks. Thank you for your hospitality, and walks in.
Feathershaw nods. Still that look of worry on their face.
Hmm. Kind narrator.
Yes.
In most any system, there's a point at which the most untrusting one of the group, effect,
Okay.
wishes to know whether or not the group is walking into a trap.
Mhm.
The nervousness of this person already has Mahandi on the alert. She is the
see.
one who is slow to trust.
Okay.
That is just part of her nature. Is there a role to determine exactly what is this nervousness attributed to?
Sure. Let's go ahead and do our first roll, our first test, as it were, to see if you happen to notice anything, not only as far as the countenance, that person's mood, but also the atmosphere around you, the environment. If you notice anything that seems just not right. So what we'll do is try to create that pool. So first, what I'll do for this test, we'll do this. This is a fairly, for someone like you, I feel like it's easy. It's going to be an easier test for you to
All right.
determine whether or not this is a trap. It's a trap. Is it a trap, or is it just someone who is definitely has a lot on their mind? So what I'm going to do, we'll go ahead and I will set my pool. So we're going to make this an easy test. So I'm
Okay.
going to be rolling 2 d6s and a 4.
All right.
Let's see what we got here. All right, so I got 12, and then on the effects die, it is a d4. So I'll go ahead and have you do your dice pool right now.
So
What are we
for
using
this-
to determine whether or not this is a trap?
Let's
it's a trap.
see. Well, I have a D6. One of my values is truth. How about that? And the descriptor I have under that,
Mhm.
I try to keep an eye on who is most honest, but I'd rather be in combat, which is an entire
So
truth
you're
for her.
ready. You're always ready for a fight if need be to handle it.
Correct. So
Are they
I
going to
would-
catch these hands? That's the question.
That's it. I would definitely have that as a values die, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
I
think
and
so.
then so then I could also pick one of my attributes, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Great. So we're going to do awareness for that one.
Okay.
I believe awareness would be the most useful there. And then if I can pick a third die,
You have to pick a distinction of some kind.
it must be a
Yes.
distinction.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Yes.
Let me go down to distinction.
Yes.
Well, I have.
Yeah, so building your pool, it's the attribute, the value, the distinction, and
Got
you
it.
can also use any assets or specialties as well.
If applicable.
If applicable, yes. So
Got it.
this is a fairly decent, it's just not that big of a number, but you never know. You might want to try to add a few extra dice where you can.
I actually would like to use hinder for unyielding God.
Okay.
Because the extreme, of course, for being on God all the time is
Mhm.
that you are so slow to trust that it doesn't build trust between you and someone else.
Okay.
So you're going to use the hinder and get yourself a plot point?
I would
Yes.
love to try.
I see.
Yes.
There we
Okay.
go.
There we go. All
So-
righty.
All right, so I've built that.
So make sure you make a
D8
note of that once you roll that you will be getting that plot point.
Got it. All right. Let's see here. So under, let me go ahead and do that roll here in my lovely dice tray. And ooh, so
All right. Okay. So we got what was that? A +6. So that does beat mine, and then same D4. Are you choosing the D4 as the effect die, or?
let's see. So if I choose the 4 as the effect die, then I will be able to gain that plot point.
Yes.
But
Okay.
regardless, you get your plot
Regardless,
point.
you're going to get the plot point, correct?
Oh,
Mhm.
got you.
And-
Okay. All right.
Utahime,
And just-
tell me if I'm
yes.
wrong,
Yes.
but because you know that you only have to beat a 12, right?
Yes. Mhm.
So it's whatever you need to do to get a 12, which for you, I think
Well,
that
actually,
means
you have to get above 12 because
Yeah.
12 is actually that
so
is
then
not
you
enough.
need to use your 8 and your 6 for that
Ah,
if you want
okay.
to beat it.
All right. So yes, I will use the D8 then to make sure, just to put it over the top.
Okay,
So
so you're using
yes.
the 8 and 6, and then the effects die was what I thought the D4 were doing.
Yes.
All
Correct.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so when you look around, you don't see anything as far as anything that looks suspicious. If anything, there might be, when do you enter actually, or are you still on the outside?
I do.
to try to- okay.
In order to smooth things with this person, this new person we've met, it could just be nervousness at, meeting new people. I have been working through this. Believe it or not, there's a thing or two that Tal has to teach Mahandi as far as okay, not everyone is coming after you with a knife or a spear.
But you're
Once in a
cautious.
while, yes, and I
And-
in turn try to keep them out of trouble. So yeah, she moves Tal
Yes.
through. She kind of still has a hand behind Tal, a little protective there, and
Yes.
ducks down deep because she's so tall, and kind of I guess hunches underneath the cloth of this tent that they're in now. Looking
And
around.
what you would notice when you do pass through and you look at Feathershaw, if anything, you almost see like a slight sadness in their eyes, kind of as you enter, and they seem a little bit more like they're trying to compose themselves, and they give you a deep bow, as you enter. So you're kind of getting the hint that maybe this person is not trying to set them up for something as far as an attack or going to do anything nefarious. It's just something that is weighing on them.
And I think Mahandi goes ahead and just resigns herself to sit down, crisscross applesauce to avoid having to hunch for however long we're inside this tent. And she situates herself and just waits to see what this individual has to say.
Shiara is not far behind, and like no hesitation walks in and does like the knee sit thing, and they're closer to Feathershaw than anyone else at this point, and they just say, I assumed this was for me. And me alone?
Unfortunately, if that were the case, I would have done this on my own.
Hmm.
This is something that needs, let's just say, many skills, especially before the time runs out.
Speaking of, what are your skills? And I like burst into the tent and I sit next to Shiara, like, so you've been like super quiet this whole walk. So what are your skills? No,
I'm so sorry.
No,
were you
stop.
talking to me? Or
No,
were you
Shiara.
talking to okay.
Shiara. Like, speaking of which, what are your skills?
Shiara like opens their mouth and then realizes that Feathershaw was going to answer the question and goes,
No, I'm so sorry. I thought that the question was directed towards me, please.
I get the feeling you will learn those firsthand very soon.
Are you also trying to get, are you also trying to be like the great hunter? Are you trying to be the great hunter? Because we could team up.
That kind of isn't there only one great hunter? So if you teamed up, then you both couldn't be the great hunter and would have to compete to be the great hunter, theoretically.
Well, yeah, but we could like help each other. And then whoever wins, wins.
I will leave the competition to you.
Oh. Okay, so not a hunter. And I take out my book, like scratch that out. Okay.
Well,
I look at Feathershaw directly.
Yes.
I know it's something extraordinary. I didn't realize it was something so dire.
Unfortunately, there's no avoiding what's going to happen. That is why we must move as soon as possible. But first, since obviously you all don't know the situation and you don't know me very well, and even what's going on in the Hollywood, can I share my story?
Please do.
But before we do that, Logan, if you don't mind, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break now that we're on suspense trying to figure out what did Feathershaw want to tell this group? What is this mission? What is this floating island? You're going to have to come back to see. We're not finished with this tale yet, but we're going to take a quick little bio break. So that means, if you have some drinks or some snacks that you guys need to grab as well, viewers, please feel free to do so. We'll be back in about like 10 or 15 minutes. So don't go far because you want to know what's going to happen next and what Feathershaw is going to tell everyone. Welcome back, travelers. We have started the adventure, The Lost Isle, and we have gotten a chance to meet Shiara, Tal, Kinda, Mahandi, and Dahi within the Hollywood marketplace. All of them have arrived at the marketplace for various reasons, as we saw before, for those who have already been tuning in. And some may have been looking for the individual that entered the marketplace and seemed to have been ignored by all of the residents and the merchants in that area for some odd reason, which maybe we were going to find out a little bit more about that. But Feathershaw asked pretty urgently, like they were really pushing for our adventurers here to follow them to their tent on the outside of the Hollywood, because there's an urgent mission that for some reason they feel that all of the adventurers would be perfect for. And so we're going to go ahead and enter that tent scene with Feathershaw just saying, or briefly talking with Dahi, that they have a story to tell. If you don't mind, if I can share my story for a moment with all of you.
Please.
I know I'm grateful that all of you were willing to come and listen, and I hope that after this discussion, you'll understand why it's of great importance. I've lost possessions, I've lost my confidence since, obviously, you probably noticed, the other Moonshadow residents not really paying me any mind. That's because I've been ghosted by Moonshadow Society. I'm convinced I can find something, as you mentioned, Dahi. Aenean. You've heard of it, yes?
I have. Up until recently, it was a story that I thought even the most learned and elder elves thought more legend than history. I know
But
better now.
It's more than legend. It seems you understand that.
I saw it.
You saw it.
I was flying, searching. And then
well,
I
that
felt
makes sense.
something before I even saw it. Like a pull of energy. Looked, must have been the biggest dark cloud I'd ever seen. Maybe that was the Sky Arcanum from that, but no.
And that's that very thing that you felt. That is what is of great importance. There's something that I know I can find on Aenean. It will save the lives of many and make up for all of my shortcomings that brought me through that ritual of being ghosted by my people.
Speaking of that,
yes.
And Mahandi interrupts between mouthfuls because, of course, since she's hungry, she's been crunching through walnuts and cashews for the past few moments during this particular story. Isn't it to my understanding that if one gets ghosted, you did something to what? Anger your brethren in some way? What could that have been, I wonder?
Let's just say that I failed to honor an oath. And it ended with me in this situation. But again, this is how that happened is not what is actually of importance, my friend. It's again there's an artifact. It's what Dahi felt. It's something called the primal well that it conducts sky and earth magic, and it allows Aenean to float high above the Zadian sky. But it's also too what is causing the stratospheric the winds have picked up, and now it's on a collision course to crash into the mountainside where it's located now. You see, let me backtrack. I underestimated the plague of worms that destroyed my people's crops, and this artifact, it you see, with its magics, it could easily float the crops right above the infested soil. It could be the solution, so that my people don't starve, people don't die. I truly hope that with this mission, it will not only help me, of course, but my people, most importantly. I'll give them this artifact. I won't ask anything at all in return. It's again, Shiara, as I mentioned before, it's too important for just one person alone. I've studied the primal well, I've studied Aenean, but again, there's very little, because of the fact that it's been known to be just legend, very little information. No record of Aenean being in contact with Zadia for centuries. It's most certainly, it has to be abandoned. So in the end, this will be very simple, especially for people who are capable. and my abilities are limited.
I
Even
see.
someone as strong as me, as far as my mage abilities, we have our limits too. Like this, yes.
Shiara's face actually softens when you say that it needs more than one person, and anyone paying attention to them would notice that they relax a little bit when you say that. Otherwise, they don't say anything.
I
Listen,
see. So it would
yes.
seem that we are all a means to an end, then.
We save
Shiara,
lives, countless lives. As you saw,
Shiara,
you saw
how...
the marketplace and the condition.
Oh, yes, quite. Shiara, how closely do you know this one? You seem to have a familiarity with them. Are you certain this person is not responsible for the condition of the crops here? Perhaps
Not
picked off the
certain.
wrong person? Or wrong mage, perhaps?
I told you that I did not fulfill my part of a certain oath. I cannot give you any more information. Please trust me. Trust me that I'm trying to help my people. This is a means to an end. If we can get our hands on this artifact, this rare artifact, just the difference that it could make. There's nothing like it. And I know we can. And listen, I will use my cloak to harness a major moonbeam, especially when the moon is in the right phase. And during this rare moon phase, it will only last for 12 hours. 12 hours only. There will be no other chance. Aenean is, no matter what, is going to face destruction. It's going to collide into that mountainside. But we can glide up on this moonbeam as if it was like a river of light. Listen, I know that this is very small information. Again, I have done my research, but there's not as much information, but I know that this is it. I know that this is the solution. So time is the essence. If you could please, we must depart from for Aenean tonight.
All right.
I'm
And
sorry.
Mahandi...
I'm sorry. It's just,
Mahandi,
we have a limited time for
Yes.
this to happen.
I don't know Feathershaw. But the person who sent me to find them, that's a person I trust to be one of the most honorable and giving and caring people I found exploring most of Zadia. If they trusted Feathershaw, you could not get a better endorsement.
Thank you for those words.
Well, I
That
know
said-
you are quite... I know you are quite alluring, my new friend. However, I still don't like it. It still seems like we are the cleanup crew, so to speak, after this broken oath, after this mistake has been made. And now we are the instruments to help to rectify it?
I saw you trying to rectify the mistake and help the people of this Hollowwood before you knew what caused it. It might not be just that you're a means to their end. Perhaps it's a means to your end.
Feathershaw, I'm in.
Thank you.
This moonbeam, you think you can get us on top of it? Because when I saw it, I told you I thought at first it was a giant storm cloud. And then I realized it was no cloud. It was a mountain floating upside down in the sky. Glimpses of a city on top of it I could barely see. I could not get close enough. I've flown through rough winds, but even trying to get within proper sight of it, it rebuffed me. And the energy of this artifact, as you say, the Sky Arcanum tied to something, well, if legends to be believed, To your people, Tal. My people don't build cities. We don't gather like that. There is the Star Scraper up north, and then there is this legendary city that is massive. There is no Luxoria for my people. There's this that was lost to time.
And Tal, you would know, based on just what you've heard in history, that Earthblood elves supposedly helped the Skywing elves shape this massive stone foundation and install the primal well. That some Earthblood elves believe that it was actually true, and that somewhere in Zadia, it's rumored that there's a giant spiraling stone pit, like a foundational bed where Aenean once stood before it rose to the clouds.
We have the opportunity to investigate a city that has been nothing but folklore and myth for generations. On top of that, we have the opportunity to attempt to retrieve an artifact of such immeasurable magical power that I don't think any of us here can potentially comprehend. It's a floating city. I know you can fly and you can see it, and that's cool. But like,
no, but I'm telling you, I've never.
On it.
But there's not. I have never felt anything like it, and I was still miles away.
Did you see any animals on it?
I told you I was miles away. I couldn't.
There's no way that Dahi could have gotten close enough to see. But that's exactly it. Is that through my magics, through the power from my cloak, especially on this rare moon phase. That's why, my friends, we must hurry. This cannot be delayed any longer. I know that if you have questions, we can talk while on the journey, but it will take us about a week to arrive. And as I said before, time is of the essence. If we don't make it in time, if we miss this moon phase, that we will not make it.
An entire
week, will be lost.
You say?
All will be lost. Lives will be lost as well.
An entire week, you say?
It will take a week for us to travel. If we go now, we must leave as soon as possible.
It was headed north of the breach.
Tal is gonna look up, or well, look over at Mahandi. Imagine the glory you could bring back. The stories of greatness. When you slay anything that gets in front of me, because you know I don't slay anything, when you protect all of us up there, just think of it. The greatest adventure.
You think I don't know what you're doing.
Well, I'm going, so if you're going to protect me, which I know you're going to, then you need to come too.
Then you must make me a promise. This will be a week's time on the road. You cannot take the entire forest with you. So please, anything that you pick up, make sure it is consumable. If you can abide by that, then I'm in. And she looks over to Feathershaw and nods, still crossing her arms, but she gives a reluctant nod.
Tal starts to put back the things that he's already started taking from inside the tent.
What about you, Kinda? You came looking for things to hunt.
Yeah, I've got time. This sounds like fun. And yeah, I'm beginning to, and I pick up my book and I'm like, seems like you moon shadow elves really like moon phases. I'm just writing down.
It's also when our magics are much stronger. We're most connected to the moon arcanum.
It's all.
So, if you're all on board, are we ready?
As ever we will be.
If you have a way to get us on it, then I guess so. But in the next week, you might want to explain if you have a way to get us back off.
No worries. Again, I am a powerful mage after all. I'm sure Ibis told you that. And then with
that much he did tell me. He didn't tell me you were so cute, though.
Feathershaw, let's get on our way. Very nervously, not expecting that flirtatious comment. And they start to gather their things, and I'm assuming that you all you have your items with you. I'm assuming, or are you needing to go back to the marketplace to get them?
No.
Everyone has their things, so it takes a little bit of time, just but it's rather quick. So within the hour, you're able to pack up everything that's needed to head on foot in the direction that Feathershaw seems to know about, and so does Dahi, knowing where this city in the sky, where Neon is currently located. And that is where we will end this particular chapter 1 of our tale. And we will have to see what happens during this travel time, and whether or not Feathershaw is able to get you guys up on top of that city that's floating, just floating in Zadian sky, just like hanging out up there, but going at a fast pace, about to collide into a mountainside. So hopefully you guys do get there in time. It's the time frame is very quick. So on that note, thank you all for joining us in chat for our premiere episode. This has been so much fun. We're gonna go ahead and quickly go around the horn, as it were, so then that way everyone can say who they are, where they can be found, and if there's something really cool that you're up to. And let's start with Kai.
Hi, everyone. I'm April Hill. You can find me at April Nicole Hill all over the socials. I'm also the community manager for Modiphius Entertainment. We make games like Fallout, the role-playing game, Star Trek Adventures, Dune Adventures in the Imperium, and the newly out for pre-order Mass Effect, the board game. So yeah, go check that out. Go pre-order it. The minis are incredible. The gameplay is actually it's really freaking cool. But yeah, and then I'm usually playing Fallout, the role-playing game on Modiphius channel. But we're on a little hiatus because of scheduling conflicts right now, because that happens. But yeah, we'll be back. Go watch all the VODs. So
all right along to Tal.
Hi, everybody. Thank you guys for tuning in. Logan Hanley, the innkeeper here at the Red Hair Inn. The inn's been pretty quiet. This has been the fire under my butt to get things moving with my counterpart, Taryn, as we are preparing things for the new year. That's all I'm going to say, and I've been saying for a while, I'm going to do more stream things, and that was in like January of 2024, and it's I don't know, a month. It's a month of the year now. So we're looking at 2025, and yeah, there's some exciting things around the corner. Other than the exciting things happening in Zadia, which I can't wait to figure out what the hell is on that floating island in the sky. But yeah, thank you again.
Over to Shiara.
Hello, hi, I am your favorite burb on the interweb, a Black Sparrow. What am I doing? I am playing this lovely game. I may have a new game that I'm coming out with soon. A couple games I'm coming out with soon, but I can't talk about them yet because stuff hasn't been finalized. But yeah, you can find me at a Black Sparrow most places, including on Twitch, like here, where I stream sometimes video games and I have snarky things to say, or I just have concise, fun gameplay. I don't know. But y'all have been bombastic, scholastic, and fantastic, and I am so glad to be here. By the way, I played Shiara, they, them, the very quiet person, which was a hard time for me, but we're going to keep it moving.
We're gonna crack that nut.
Well,
We'll talk more.
good thing you guys have a week to get there, right? More getting to
Indeed.
know you time. All right, heading over to Dahi.
Hi everyone, thanks for watching. My name is Daniel Lieberman, known to many simply as Dragon. I am a artist, writer, performer, designer, jack of all trades, master of none, multi-class to hell bard kind of thing, based in Toronto, Canada. You can follow me at DMC Lieberman on that thing that used to be called Twitter, or I still call it Twitter, and Instagram. You can also, for anything I'm doing in the world related to TTRPGs, follow Dragon Rock RPG Design, which is myself and my dearest friend, writing and design partner, Renee Beauregard, who viewers of this channel may remember as Perrin Hopesinger on the Ekrim expeditions. Renee and I are not really working on anything right now because most of what we did was very much rooted in 5th edition D&D, and as many people know, it's going through a bit of transition now. That doesn't mean we're going away forever, but we are taking our time to decide how we're going to release the material we had created and what we may do in the future, D&D related or otherwise. But you can follow us at Dragon Rock RPG Design on Instagram and at Dragon Rock RPG. That's rock spelled R-O-C with no K, like the giant mythical bird. You can find our links to our previous DMs Guild releases, other things we've posted, and we're still available for commissions and consultations because really we just like making fun things with fun people. And I look forward to continuing this adventure.
All right, and last but certainly not least, everyone's favorite strong sun fighter elf, Mahandi.
Oh, hey, it's me. Hi, all. My name is Cher, pronoun she, her. I am a Black bisexual actress, content creator, and streamer, and also one of the proud co-founders of Femme Gamer Party, where we celebrate female and female representing presence within tabletop games. We were formerly known as the Ladies of D&D. However, we have expanded into celebrating indie games, and we really love to give respect, all praise, and shout out to the folks out here in the indie set, creating such wonderful, lovely games such as this. This has been amazing to be a player and a part of. You can find me on, used to be Twitter, still not saying that new thing, as Gamer Share, and on Blue Sky, Hive, Insta, and Twitch, right here on Twitch as That Gamer Share, where I have my own Twitch channel. I sometimes speak in funny voices, and actually on Sundays, if you happen by the Femme Gamer Party channel, I am actually your Eldritch Dragonborn Knight, Kasadi. So come join us, won't you, on Sunday nights? Otherwise, you can, check out my socials, and I'll definitely let you know what's coming down the pike. Otherwise, that's me.
Man, I have the best table. Everybody's so freaking cool. You guys are amazing. Again, it's been just such a pleasure to actually lead an adventure for the first time and first streamed game ever for me as the narrator GM. So thank you guys. You guys, I love your characters, and I can't wait to see what they're going to get up to on the next episode. Everyone, I have been your narrator for this adventure, Utahime. I'm up to lots of geeky shenanigans on a weekly basis, including getting to roll dice with these beautiful folks you see before you. You can find me at UTAHIME, Utahime Cosplay, everywhere except on the app formerly known as Twitter. I'm at Brianna DaCosta there. And just so you guys know, everyone who's tuning in, we will continue our tale on Tuesday, September 24th. So we're skipping a Tuesday, but come back on Tuesday, September 24th at the same time, 6:30 p.m. Pacific time. Was it 9:30 p.m. Eastern time?
9:30 p.m.
Yes.
Eastern.
I know how to do that calculation. And yes, we hope that you will join us for the next chapter to see what's in store for our heroes. And I just want to thank you all for for joining us for the Lost Isle. I hope you have a wonderful night. Stay awesome. Be kind to yourselves and others. Good night, y'all. Bye.
Night, everybody.